Welcome into the In the Money podcast for KeenelandSelect.com. I'm Tom Leach, along with Keeneland's Director of Mutuals and Simulcasting, Jim Goodman. Taking a look at the card at Gulfstream Park for Saturday, December 17th. Got 3 graded stakes races there, 5 stakes races overall, and we'll also give you a late pick 4 ticket. Jim, let's start in the 4th race, the grade 3 Sugar Swirl. Fillies and Mares 3 and up, 6 furlongs. Small field here. Who did you land on?
Yeah, I thought Dearest here was not a standout, but she exits the Prioress at Saratoga, grade 2, and only got beat by half a length to Lucy and Ethel. Inside draw, and there is some other speed in the race, so I don't know that she has to have the lead, but I think she's going to be well positioned. And she loves Gulfstream, 3 for 4 there, won 2 races there last winter, so I think Dearest is my pick here, but Stonetastic, the 5 horse, is also loves Gulfstream. She's 2 for 3 there, and she may get to the lead with Paco Lopez and may just wire him. And I think Dearest is going to sit off her, but looks like Stonetastic is the speed. I'm giving Dearest a very small edge over Stonetastic just because the last 2 for Stonetastic, including one at Keeneland, her numbers aren't quite as good, even though she won the race at Belmont. She would finish second at Keeneland to Iris Jasper, and you bought her the 6. If Stonetastic and Dearest go out and have a speed duel, it could set up for you bought her. But I think Dearest and Stonetastic are the class of the race. So I'm going to Dearest, the 1 horse, over the 5 and 6.
Yeah, I'm same exact way you look at it. I like Dearest 3 for 4 at Gulfstream, and it was a really nice effort in the Prioress, and now coming off a layoff, but should be ready to roll here from a great post position, sprinting at Gulfstream. So I like Dearest a lot, and the 5 and the 6 are the 2 that I would use with her as well. In the 5th race, the grade 3 Rampart, I might be reaching a little bit. I'm going to use the 6 Eskin for money. This horse is 3 lifetime wins. 2 of them have come at Gulfstream Park, and 2 wins at this 1 mile distance. So for those 2 reasons, and I'm hoping maybe this horse gets overlooked a bit, I'm going to take the 6 Eskin for money here for Pletcher. Not a strong opinion, but trying to get a little bit of a price. Screaming Skylar, the 3, 2 Curlin's Approval, the other 2 I like. So I would make the win pick, Eskin for money, number 6 in the 5th race. How about you?
I liked Eskin for money, but I went to Curlin's Approval. I thought the 4th place effort in the Raven Run at Keeneland at 7 furlongs was a nice effort in October. Had a little time off now, stretches out to a mile. And Marty Wolfson seems to get these horses ready for Gulfstream meet. So I'm going to go with Curlin's Approval off that Keeneland tightener. And this is another horse. A lot of these horses that I looked at today love Gulfstream, and she's 3 for 4 at Gulfstream. Eskin for money, I can make a case there for Pletcher and Castellano. Genre is also went off at 3 to 1 in the Spinster and won the Molly Pitcher over stablemate last time out, and or not last time out, but at Monmouth, and those 2 finished within a neck of each other. So Eskin for money and Genre, I think both have a shot. Pletcher could have a big day at Gulfstream like he seems to always have. Curlin's Approval is my pick, but Eskin for money and Genre certainly have a shot.
And moving to the 7th race, Pletcher is well represented there in the grade 3 Harlan's Holiday. 3-year-olds and up going a mile and a 16th. Did you land on a Pletcher?
Absolutely. Stanford. I like the 1 hole. I couldn't get off the Pletcher horses. It seems like every race he has contenders. That's the way it seems to be, especially in the wintertime, especially at the big meets. So Pletcher with Stanford and Velasquez, I think it has the speed. Did not run well at all in the Met Cap or the Met Mile. Frosted was a freak that day, and nobody was going to beat him. So kind of toss that and go back to the Gulfstream race in the Gulfstream Park Handicap last March, and then the Charlestown Classic where he went wire to wire. And I think the speed here holds up, and he's not a single here in pick 3, but I really think that he is the speed of the speed. Made for Lucky, the 2, the Pletcher other horse, could run it down. I mean, Zayas certainly is a nice jock, even though Velasquez doesn't ride him again. Velasquez goes with Stanford. But I think Pletcher runs 1-2 here. Keen Ice is the class of the field, but it just doesn't set up well. I think the race is too short for Keen Ice, and I don't think there's enough speed that's going to set him up for a late run. So I'm going to take Stanford on top of Made for Lucky, the 2, and Keen Ice, the 6.
I ended up going to Made from Lucky. 2 wins at Gulfstream I liked, and this type of layoff for this horse, Pletcher, is a 36% win rate, but I could have easily gone for the 1 Stanford as well. Keen Ice on that track coming from behind, I don't like his chances as much, but I would definitely use him. I'm going to key on Made from Lucky and then use him in exactas with Stanford, Awesome Slew, the 4, and Keen Ice, the 6. 8th race is the ungraded El Prado Stakes on the turf at 7.5 furlongs, which is a 2-turn race at Gulfstream for 3-year-olds and up. And I like Heart to Heart a lot in there. Heart to Heart has speed and the rail. 2 for 2 at Gulfstream, making the 3rd start off a layoff. It's a horse that has some definite back class, and on his best day, I think he'll be awfully hard to handle. Security Risk I like a little bit for Shug, just because this one's getting good, but this is a step up in class to beat a horse like Heart to Heart. But definitely worth looking at. Security Risk, Sensational, and Go Around for Mott are the other 2 I like, but Heart to Heart is a pretty strong win pick for me in the El Prado. How about you?
I think the other angle at Heart to Heart that some people may miss is Le Peru rode this horse 5 times in a row back in the summer, including a couple of grade 1s, and won 3 in a row. And then, of course, Le Peru got hurt. And although Arad Ortiz is obviously a great jockey, I think this horse and Le Peru really fit well because he's very consistent. And Le Peru can get him to the lead, and I think you're right. I think he's a strong pick here. The horses that I liked beneath him that you didn't mention were Vision Perfect, the 8 horse, who's stepping up in class here. But I think if he goes back to that race at Belmont, he got a 98 buyer and an $80,000 optional claiming, and came from way out of it, and I think he's got a shot if Heart to Heart doesn't fire. And Reporting Star, the 7, loves Gulfstream Park, another one of those horses that's always in the money there. And he's defending champ of this race and is a grade 3 winner here. So I think that those 2 could run behind Heart to Heart, but if he shows up, I think he wins this race fairly easily.
10th race is the South Beach. This is the filly and mare version of the El Prado, 7.5 on the turf for 3-year-olds and up. How do you see this one?
You know, at Keeneland, we worry about running turf races back to back. They run 4 or 5 in a row at Gulfstream on days like this, and hopefully the turf course holds up pretty well. But Tittapacy, if I can pronounce that, I never can pronounce the horse. I pick him a lot, or I pick her a lot. But Belmont, she actually lost the E.P. Taylor by only 2 lengths last time out, and this is another defending champ back to defend her title in this race. She won the South Beach last year. I think it's between her and Sandiva, the 9 horse, again for Todd Pletcher and Castellano. Sandiva, the 3 for 5 Gulfstream, but she's been off since July. She beat the top choice back in the Marshalls River last January at Gulfstream Park, so I think she's right there. Horse that might surprise, Neck of the Moon. Doesn't look like she's good enough for these, but you never leave out Chad Brown in a turf race. And Exili, the 1 for Clement and Rosario, or Midnight Miley, the 4. As you can tell, when we get to pick 4 in a minute, I'm going to go really deep in here because I don't really have a strong opinion. I think Midnight Miley or Exili could actually steal the race if they get out well and they don't kill each other. So I'm going to go really deep in here, but Tittapacy is my pick for Belmont.
I'm going to take Neck of the Moon, the one you mentioned, what I think might be a little bit of a price, even though it's a Chad Brown trainee. This horse is really working well, and just out of respect for Chad Brown, in a race where I don't have a strong opinion, I'm going to take a shot with Neck of the Moon. Sandiva's the one I probably like next best. Tittapacy, Exili, and Seeking Treasure, I thought ran a nice race last time at Gulfstream, and merits being tossed into the mix as well. So I would go use all 5 of those in the pick 4. Neck of the Moon's going to be my win pick in here. But for the pick 4, it'll start in the 8th race, the late pick 4. I'm going to use Heart to Heart, and also I'm going to throw in Security Risk just in case he's that good. The 9th race is a turf allowance. Lemonist coming off a big maiden win, scratched last week. Horse that we thought would run big last week comes back in here, and I think going to be tough to beat. Avies Mark coming out of a stake last time at Woodbine. I would use that one as well, so 9 and 10 there. Then I'm going to use in the 10th race the 5 horses that we mentioned. And then in the last race, I'm going to go 4 deep, the 1, 2, 8, and 10. The 1 is a Wesley Ward turf sprinter. The 2 and the 8 are Pletcher first-timers. The 10 horse comes off a second-place effort up at Saratoga back in the summer that looks pretty strong against this group. So I'm going to use all 4 of those. So 2 by 2 by 5 by 4 for me in the late pick 4. How about you?
My pick 4 was really simple. I decided to single heart-to-heart in the 8th, and I decided to go all in the 10th. And then so you just figure out how much you can afford in the other 2 races, or if you have a strong opinion. And I do like Lemonis, the horse that we picked last week when everything got washed off the turf in the 9th race, and that's an optional allowance race, $75,000. And I think he was the easiest of winners at Gulfstream West on the 29th, another lemon drop kid on the turf. So I really do like Lemonis there, but I don't like him enough to single. I'm going to use the horse you mentioned, Avi's Mesa, the 10 for Josie Carroll, who's run 2 really good races at Woodbine on the turf. And then Holiday Stone, the 1, is a horse for George Weaver, and it intrigues me when you look at the running line that the last race at Belmont, the horse from the DRF running line, in hand, inside, held safe. And that's pretty strong language that the horse could have won easily, went to the front and just won by half a length, but was 2.5 out in front. So pretty impressive second time out. So I'm going to put George Weaver in there. So I'm going to use 1, 9, 10 in that leg, again with all in the 10th. And then the 11th, the maiden race, I'm going to use Delphinia, the 1 that you mentioned for Wesley Ward. I'm going to use Stellar Performance, the 3 for Eric Guillot, with a really great workout pattern. Even though he's not great on first-time starters and doesn't have any horses, I think Stellar Performance has a shot. And Love and Lemons, the 10, another lemon drop kid on the turf, a repeat of the Saratoga second race back, wins this in a walk. I think the 1, 3, 10. So 1 with 1, 9, 10 with all with 1, 3, 10 for $40.50.
Best of luck on your wagers on the Saturday card at Gulfstream Park. For Jim Goodman, I'm Tom Leach, and this is the In the Money podcast for KeenelandSelect.com.